Yay, it's me, it's me. It's that big old Brad Stine show, oh we. That was horrible. But you know what, guys? Why wouldn't it be horrible? I never, ever promised you that I could write my own theme song, nor would I ever try, because that's not my skill set. And if we've learned anything in life, don't do something you're not skilled at. You know where I saw that the most was in church. Some For some reason, and God bless you guys if anybody's watching yet. Let's see if I've got anybody here yet, just to say hi. Not yet. Oh, well, I got some people. They're just not. Oh, there's Nick Kress. Good evening. Thanks, Nick. I had to get the game rolling. And then Benjamin always goes, "Welcome, God's coming, Brett." I just picture him like going, "Welcoming Brad Radstein." That's Benjamin, always helping me out. He's my free online Dallas, Texas producer that always adds links to anything I speak about. And I could just come up with anything. Ocelots. Next thing you know, he'll have a link somehow connected to me and ocelots. Anyways, volunteer, just helps me out every Monday. And God bless him for that. But anyways, so, I did mention last week that I said, you know what I think I need? I think I need a theme song. Do you know, just to show you how this game works, I had two people contact me about a theme song. One guy really upped the ante and made an actual lyric song with melody and hook and big chorus thing. Didn't have any music attached, and very ambitious, very proud that and humbled somebody would take time to do that. But I said to him, I said, unfortunately, theme song, especially for a podcast, which is kind of just, I'm here now, it really is going to have to be more just music only. So thank you for the effort. Very kind, and I love it, but it's going to be too long. It's not like a giant thing. It's got to be, think more like Letterman was, Tonight Show, just kind of a cool, music intro thing or something like I have on Brad Stine Has Issues. But I did have another guy who got on and made sort of a guitar kind of cool, riffy, 10-second maybe intro kind of deal. And I said, well, he said, should I add bass and drums and, pan flute? And which is what I recommended with the pan flute. He had an orchestra. I said, we don't get enough of anymore pan flute. You just don't. I don't know if it's antagonism to pans or to flutes, but those two together apparently is just, like off limits, taboo. But anyways, more pan flute. Can you imagine if my entire episode, if the Brad Stine show was pan flute driven? I think that would put me in a whole new category of horror, actually. But anyways, he came up with a cool guitar riff, and I said, if you want to add all the bells and whistles, please feel free, and we will try to make a theme song. We'll see what happens. So anyways, no promises, but if you're a theme song maker and I end up using your theme song, then you'll get credit for that. Won't pay you. I can't afford it because, as you can see, I still live in a dungeon. And you know what's the one thing I did notice? I have been spending weeks in this attic that is unfinished because we're trying to raise funds to build it. And part of the fun for me was being miserable so I could make everybody feel guilty and help me. But I realized the whole time, because I can see myself on my screen, donated, by the way, a wonderful computer, that you can't see. This is a shell above me. It's my roof. I'm really under a roof line, a A-frame roof line. And it's just sort of ribs. It's kind of like if I was Jonah and was swallowed in the belly of a beast. This is what I got, and I don't even know that Jonah would get that because he would be stuck in intestines or something. You know where you saw it? You saw it on what's his name? Pinocchio. When they showed the cartoon, he was inside it. It was just sort of a rib cage. There was no inner organs of this beast, I noticed. Anyways, that's kind of what it looks like here. And I'm freezing. I forgot my scarf this time. Maybe I can find something. But I am wearing another vintage put a helmet on short. Last week, the winning bid for the vintage put a helmet on shirt was $75, I think. And you know what this gentleman did? And I should have got his name connected. God Bless you, brother. I'm sorry I didn't get your name here, and I don't memorize everybody's names, believe it or not. I signed it and everything. He said, I don't want it. Bring it to an event that I'm doing in 2 weeks in Houma, Houma, Louisiana. Going to be doing a men's event Friday night. Saturday night, I'm going to be performing for the church. And he said, just give it to some guy there. So it was a very kind gesture. But I got another one. This one is different. This one has all the funny statements on the outside. Let me see if I can grab one from over here. Since I'm wearing this, it's going to be hard to see. This is an XL, by the way. So anyways, this is what it looks like from the inside or outside. Brad Stine, Put a Helmet On. So this is, again, the original Put a Helmet On album cover. So that's how old these shirts are that I dug out. And then on the back is things like, if you need a sign warning you coffee is hot, put a helmet on. If you need instructions in a plane on how to buckle a seatbelt, put a helmet on. If you're offended by someone saying Merry Christmas, put a helmet on and slam it down tight. If you actually believe Satan put backwards messages in rock and roll records. So anyways, that's what this is all about. And I'm wearing one so that I can have you bid on it. And the bidding starts now. By the end of the hour, whoever has the highest bid, I will sign personally a game-worn, podcast-worn shirt. Send it right to you, and you can wear it, or you can stare at it, or you can frame it, or you can use it as a rag to wash your car. I really don't care, as long as I got the dough. So I can get out of this frame and actually put in some sheetrock or, as they say in more sophisticated places, drywall. I believe in the more sophisticated areas, they call it drywall. They don't lower themselves to that base level of sheetrock. Sounds almost Flintstonian, no? Instead, they call it drywall, and that's what we're going to be doing. By the way, whenever I have an incredibly important philosophical, apologetic answer that I have to come up with, I got to get my pipe. Because two things prove you're smart even if you're an idiot. One, a pipe. Two, a British accent. Don't ask me why. That's just how the game works. That's why whenever you see a biblical film, it always has characters with with British accents. We don't want you to sound like you're from the Middle East or from Jerusalem. Give them a British accent in 2000 ago, even though they're wearing the toga and the sandals. They sound sophisticated. Anyways, so we're going to talk about some wonderful things today. This is the Brad Stine Show, for those of you who might be here by accident or on work release program. I am a conservative. I am a Christian. I am a believer that the United States of America, as the Founding Fathers originally intended, is the greatest nation in human history. The history proves that. I also believe in fighting for freedoms and religious liberties. A huge First Amendment fan and a Second Amendment fan, because the founders knew that without the second, there will never be a first, or eventually it will be eroded. So that's kind of what I'm from. Obviously, I'm not a typical podcasty guy. There are some Christian podcasts out there that do a great job. There are some comedians out there who do a great job. There are some atheists out there who do a great job. I'm kind of this hybrid of all these other things and do a mediocre job. So there you have it. I'm a jack of all trades, kind of sucky at all. Okay, but I'm here with you today. And don't forget to start bidding. Now, I said I'm going to take some questions, so I do want you guys to come up with some questions for me. We got a big night ahead, so I want to cover everything that I can. And one of the things I did want to cover, because, again, I am a comedian, and I don't want to ever lose that part of... I had to look weird to you guys. It's like, what's wrong with Brad this time? He appears to have some sort of seizure. No, there was a hair hanging here, and you can't see it. And clearly, I can't either, but I saw it kind of dangling, and it was really bothering me because I have severe OCD. And so I saw it, and I said, that has to come down. And so I went after it, and I realized since you can't see it, all you saw was me going, I think I'll do this now, for no reason whatsoever, because I'm a lunatic. But anyways, I got it off, so now I can breathe, because otherwise I would have had nightmares that I was being attacked by a toupee. Anyways, so here's what we're talking about tonight. Number one, I was in Boerne, Texas over the weekend at this amazing group of folks who do what do you call it? food distribution pantry, the biggest one I've ever seen, Daily Bread. And it's a food pantry. It's amazing. It's gigantic. They deal with thousands and thousands of families there in Bertie that they take care of. They also do a mentoring program, and it was amazing. I got to perform 2 shows. There was 150 people that were allowed to be there, all unmasked, because it's Texas. And if they feel like the virus is coming their way, they just take out their shotgun and kill it. That's how they roll. But I had to do 2 shows, so it was a virtual event as well. The second show was virtual. First show, I got to work for 150 people plus the virtual event. So it was an amazing time, and they raised a lot of money to help families in need. And it was just, I always am humbled and grateful when my comedy can also be used to help leave a place with more than what they had when I got there. So if I can leave them with some laughter, great. If they weren't laughing, if I could leave them with more money than they had when we started, that's really what a fundraiser is for, and that's why I do so many fundraisers, because I like to use my comedy to sort of also help drive ideas and thoughts about people donating to help things be accomplished. So that's where I was over the weekend. Yes, I was working, and there are people learning how to get us into live events in this nation. Of course, Florida's open. South Dakota, thank you, is wide open, has been from the get-go. So I've been able to go there. But I've got some gigs coming up in 2 weeks. I will be in North and South Carolina at Comedy Zone. So go buy tickets now. There's already tickets are being sold. You can get special tickets, but I will be at the Comedy Zone not this weekend, but the following Wednesday and Thursday. Comedy Zone, North Carolina, South Carolina, Greenville, I think, and somewhere else. Anyways, go online, look up Comedy Zone. If you are in the North Carolina, South Carolina area, want to see me live, and you want to stand up for God and country and tear down political correctness, then come out and see me live. If you've liked my videos on TV or on YouTube and never seen me live, you got to see it live. It's like anything. It's like jazz. It's like music. It's like ballet. You got to see it live to really know what it looks like, and comedy must be seen live, because all kinds of crazy fun things happen, because it's the people are really there, and you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Trust me, because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. But let me tell you what is about to come out of my mouth right now. I was driving today, and somebody was driving in a super tiny car. Now, I don't know the name of the car. I don't know if that's a Prius. It was like, it literally looked kind of like squished and kind of tall, almost like Jetsons weird squished car. It didn't look normal. It looked ridiculous and frightening, and it was like this wide. And it looked, but it was smashed and tall. Now, if anybody out there knows what that car might be, what kind of car that is, hi, Mary Miles from Wyoming. Good to meet you. See you. Maureen Sporer says, I'm hilarious. I sure am. And we need more pan flute. Stan Stinson says, yeah, Stan's making a funny joke referencing cowbell, but he said pan flute. Anyways, so, anybody know the name of those cars that are like smashed and super tall? It looks as though the guy is basically standing up in it, and it's about the width of a human. And I'm looking at this car, and I'm going, what? How badly do you not want to stay alive while driving? To be in a car so ridiculously small, no bumper, I don't think. It's like some capsule sort of 1960s look at the future of what the future of cars are going to look like. It looks like the guy kind of could stand in it. It essentially looks like a coffin, kind of. Like a futuristic 60s coffin, which is exactly what you're driving if you ever got rear-ended by a semi. I don't understand what would cause anybody. Now, the only thing I can imagine is the people that would buy this car. And it can't be worth much. Let's put it to you like that. So I guess I could throw in a third possible reason why somebody would want a car like this. Maybe it might be $42, because there can't be much metal involved. I think it was actually I think it might have actually been aluminum foil wrapped around, and the windshield was saran wrap. I'm not sure, but it was. There's not a lot of going on in there, but so maybe it's cheap, right? But to me, the reason that anybody would have this car would be either A, because you want to protect the environment. You're a big vegan slash eco green. We have to have zero carbon footprint, and maybe that would work. I can't be generating a lot of energy because I don't think it could go much over 6. And if you get hit, you will be splattered everywhere. So you will at least have contributed to the compost along the side of the road, because you are not going to survive anything. Not a fender bender, not a rear end, not if you hit speed bumps, it will probably destroy you. You'll probably be torn in half, or any kind of those rumble strips would probably rip your wheels off. It's the most absurd car. It was ridiculous, and I don't know what it's called. Does anybody know? Hey, Marshall. Marshall Paul said, "Hi, brother. Hi, how are you?" Kevin Beal said, "I'm unique." Yeah, I am. That's what you say about people that are in rubber rooms. Does anybody know what the name of the car is? Does anybody know? Nobody know. Where are we? Anybody? Comedy Zone. Oh, thanks. See, Benjamin, you're such a good guy. I couldn't even figure out where it was, and Benjamin found it. Anyways, let's see. Teresa Ferguson, definitely want to see you live. Again, you're outstanding. Yes, I am. I couldn't stop laughing and agreeing. I'm with you. Now everybody's talking. Are you listening to me? All I see is you all talking to each other. Does anybody know? Just stumbled up on you. No more mask in my state. Industry end of March. Where are you, brother? Kay Hancock Henderson. So excited to be able to breathe again. Anyway, just wanted to say hello. Oh, you're in Arkansas. Yay, I'm heading back to Arkansas then. Anyways, I want to finish this car thing because I can't imagine anybody wanting this. And so it's either A, you're trying to defend the environment with a small carbon footprint. And again, if you get hit, you will become the fertilizer so you are all in. Or the only other reason is you want to get really, really good gas mileage. And I don't know that getting 400 miles to the gallon is worth the fact that I will not live if there's any kind of traffic entanglement whatsoever. But I don't understand how no one would consider this to be so ridiculously unsafe that you would want to at least get like a compact car. Give yourself some shot at survival. I can't imagine a parent letting a kid get this car. So I don't know if any of you have one of these cars, but if you do, if any of you have one of these crazy, ridiculous, tiny baby freaks, please let me know, because I got to ask you if you like it, if you feel safe in it, and why do you have one? So that was what I wanted to contact you guys with for right now. I do also want to look like, see here, smart car maybe. Okay, smart car. I know that sounds ridiculous because you can't be very smart if you drive one of these. Okay, Jesse Rogers, I will do the jokes. You don't get to come on my little thread and try to be funny. That will be completely and utterly up to me. That's why I make the big money. That's why I'm sitting out here in an old shirt trying to have it pawned off in an auction so I can try to get one more sheet of sheet rock to hang here. But anyways, I wanted to also ask you guys about this other situation that took place when I was in Texas. I wonder if it is the smart car. Somebody sent me cube car. You know what? It's not a cube, though. That is an absurd car. They talk about throwing aerodynamics out the window. Hey, we need a new car that can cut through the traffic issues. And if there's big storms, we want to be able to really get the great aerodynamic features so that we can keep the high rate of gas mileage going. What do you think? Should we make it sort of more triangular? Can we get a wind foil and everything? And some guy said, how about a box? Can we make it box like it's a die? Let's pretend like let's tell them it's like they're in a dice game. It's a big cube. Let's make it ugly and aerodynamically as inefficient as possible, because if you're willing to buy a car that small anyways, you don't care about aesthetics, clearly. You don't care about style. You don't care about your life. And you don't care about your dignity, because you look like an idiot in the cube. So anyways, but, that's up to you. It wasn't the cube, though. It was something else. Anyways, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read the back of the car as to what it was, because my eyes were filled with tears from laughing hysterically at how stupid this car looked and how proud this person must have been being in their brand new death machine. Anyways, Rebecca Daly's here from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. Hi. The cube will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Hey, Marsha K, that's very cute. Very idea. Okay, Donald Glasgow. Mr. Stine. Donald, you're on. You can call me Brad. Have you seriously considered running for office, i.e. president? No. Do you know how many times people have asked me that? Do you know how many times I have seen people say to me, you should run for president or something. Now, I'm sure they're just being kind, or they're being maybe friendly or whatever. I got a little confused. The reason I did it said 40 minutes of live performance, and it's only 7:22. So somehow this is off by 20 minutes. I don't understand why. Anyways, that's why I got a little befuddled. No, I won't run for president. I can't imagine. I can't say I won't. If there's anything I've learned in my life, is that you never say never, because anything's possible, I guess. But I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it because I like being a citizen. I like being out amongst the folks. I like being able to go to the store without my mask. I like being able to talk to people, to speak about ideas and thoughts in a comedic way, in a fun way, where I'm not under any kind of regulations, any kind of PC whatever nonsense, which I wouldn't do anyways. That's one thing President Trump was a master at, was not being politically correct, which is why I loved that part of his style. And yeah, it was crude at times. It was unapologetic. He was hitting between the eyes. But I love that he dismantled the alleged decorum. And here's why: because there's nothing wrong with decorum. There's nothing wrong with trying to keep a certain amount of respect and a dignity to an office that is, I don't know if it still is, but at one time was considered the most powerful job in the world. So yeah, keep respect, keep dignity, keep decorum, and so forth. But the truth of the matter is, and what we've learned more and more over the last number of years, is it's all a game. There's certain people in power, they want to keep it, and they have some means to control, especially these congressmen, these senators who've been around for 30, 40 years, to just make them do their bidding, and they don't care because they're getting paid off. It's so despicable to me that I don't even know where to take it. It breaks my heart, because it's a country I've loved so much. A country that I'm so grateful for its history, for the pilgrims who came here to escape religious persecution, signed a Mayfair Compact to say, if you're going to join our little group, you have to be known that Jesus Christ is God, and we're going to honor him. I mean, what a commitment these folks made. And then it ends up becoming this nation that has had more immigrants, has had more ethnicities, more genders, more people from more parts of the world coming together homogenously and trying to live as one. And the only way that can work is if you have a creed, an idea that you're willing to subjugate your cultural heritage to a certain degree to become an American. And that's what's always been amazing. If you are French or German, you can kind of tell. But to be an American, you can look like anything. You just come and say, I join your team and I agree with your premise as to what we stand for, what we believe, and you become a citizen and you're an American now. And it doesn't matter if you clearly look like you came from New Delhi, or clearly looks like you came from sub-Saharan Africa, or clearly you came from Ireland, or you came from, Poland, or you came from where China. You're an American. I mean, nobody else has that track record, that incredible utopian almost idea that we can do something that has never been done before. We're going to let the government be run by the people, and the people are coming from all over the world, but they're still going to have this one idea in mind. All men are created equal, endowed with their Creator, with certain inalienable rights, amongst which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so that idea right there changed the world, and people are still coming to this nation more than any other. I don't know how long it can last. If we don't get a hold of some of the issues that we saw took place in this nation, if we aren't convinced that when we vote it counts and there is no cheating, if we're not convinced of that, if we're not proven that as a nation, then things have broken severely. So somehow there has to be a knowledge and a proof that that's sacrosanct. When you go to vote, it counts, and nobody else can steal that from you or double vote. We have to have that. So I don't know what happened at the Supreme Court, why they won't even listen to any of these lawsuits. I don't understand the rules. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not sure why they wouldn't look at them. I thought there was some stuff that was clearly odd in Georgia when they pulled the baskets of votes out and they saw people, something wrong had taken place. Now I've heard that some people maybe in Georgia have been indicted on some fraud, so maybe it's going to happen at the local level or at the state level. I don't know, but I just was surprised that the Supreme Court, knowing how important this was and how divisive it was, they wouldn't just take the case and see if there was something there that needed to be dealt with. So I don't know. And again, once again, it shows how much power we don't have. And we're the government. I'm the government. You're the government. I don't understand why we've forgotten that. From day one when I started doing this, I was talking about masks and how I had a problem with wearing masks because I felt like it was unconstitutional. It took away my freedom, my religious liberties to make my own choices, to decide to go to the store or not, and to take my own risks. That's what made me an American. That was the essence of it. And so I just felt like I don't want to succumb to this mass hysteria, this mass assimilation. Now, again, I said this from the get-go. If this was the Black Plague and 70% of the people that caught it died, I'd be wearing freaking a mask. I would have my lungs laminated. I would be in a spacesuit because it's killing people. But it wasn't. That was why I was having a problem. And one of the things I told you guys a while back was one of the ideas as a Christian. It matters why I say I'm a Christian, not because I'm trying to convince you to become a Christian. I'm not. I would love for you to become a follower of Jesus Christ, the only time that God ever became a human on earth. That is truly what I believe and what Christianity means. Of course, I'd want you to accept Christ because that's how you get to have eternal relationship in fellowship with the Creator of the whole world, of the whole universe, of all things. Of course I want you to have that. Of course I believe this is real. I wouldn't be a Christian if I didn't think Jesus was actually God. So when I say, I'd rather be a Christ follower than Christian, because Christian has its own baggage. That name was first given in the beginning, early church, as a derogatory term. It meant little Christ. They're mocking us. So I don't want it to be a religion. I don't want it to be a formula. I don't want it to be a tradition. I want it to be the actual existential connection of a human being who is half, biology and half spirit, who connects to the one who created that whole thing. Of course I want you to have that. Of course I'm going to tell you those things. But I want it to be because you believe it's true, that you've committed your intellect and your philosophical acumen to realize life has to have a meaning. There has to be design, or none of this makes any difference. I shouldn't be doing a podcast. You shouldn't be listening. You shouldn't be reading a book. We shouldn't be doing science. We shouldn't be reading mathematics. We shouldn't be doing anything because life has no meaning. We're just organisms that got too big for their britches and became self-aware. But when we die, we go into eternal unconsciousness, and we never know we were here. So go, live, drink, eat, and be merry, because tomorrow you die, and when you die, none of this matters. That's the only other alternative. It's what's Ecclesiastes figured out. It's what nihilism is. It's what true atheists who are truly committed to atheism have come to find out. If life has no meaning, do whatever I want because I'm God. So this stuff matters. And so the United States, I do not worship. I'm finding it less and less the country that I remember it was, where we were free. Obviously, we're not as free as we used to be by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly, Christians and conservatives aren't free. We're not allowed to use Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Google or Amazon if we have ideas that leftists who control these things don't like. Well, that's the loss of freedom. That's the stealing of liberty. What's the balance? How do we figure out the balance? If I have a private business and I tell you I don't want you to come in here because I want you to wear a jacket and it's my business, I should have the right to tell you to do that. And you can say, hey, I don't wear jackets. I don't want to conform to your desire of what I'm supposed to wear. And I say, yeah, I get that, but it's mine. So if it's a public place, wear what you want. This is mine. I don't wear a jacket or don't come in. And this has been around forever. So I understand the idea of private property. And it's very important that we realize the difficulty with how we want a government to intervene and decide to circumvent a private owner's business and demand they behave in a certain way. Now that is important because I'm going to tell you why. Earlier, I just used from a line from the not the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, sorry. And it said, we find these truths to be self-evident, all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Now listen, amongst which are life, liberty, right, pursuit of happiness. Do you know, and I've told you this once before, the original idea they were going to put in there, instead of pursuit of happiness, they were going to put in private property. Private property matters. If you don't have private property, you are ruled by a government. And that's what socialism is. That's what communism is. It's what totalitarianism is. They own the state owns it all, and they just rent it to you, and they can take it or leave it because you don't get any, there's no sanctuary. There's no a place of autonomy that is forbidden to be invaded by some government official. The founders were very clear they didn't want that to take place. And so why is this important? Because if I can steal your private property rights, then you have nothing by which you can say this is sacrosanct. I get to decide to raise my family the way I choose on this premises because this is mine. This is my holy place. This is my sacred ground. This is my holy ground. It's mine. I bought this space and it's mine, so I get to sort of be free to have my own little Garden of Eden, to make this own little world that I choose. Paint it the color I want, plants the plants I want, eat the food I want, invite people to come who I want. Don't let people come I don't want. And I need that freedom so that I know that there's a sanctuary for me to go to that cannot be violated, certainly by some state government who can come in and decide how you can live and put, as they did in the communist countries, bug your place so that they could listen in on you. And nowadays, with cell phones and Siri and all these things, we literally are creating a world in our homes where we are being watched by the government. This is the most ridiculous thing. I don't have all those crazy things, but I have this. And every time I do a search for something, it calculates that information and it sends it to some database that's reminding this guy needs to be seen this kind of product because he'll probably buy it. They are literally creating a sort of a clone of you in your information that you own, that you're simply trying to shop, thinking it's convenient because it is. And they are basically deciding how to administer what they think you'll buy. They are beginning to control your mind, your thoughts. I mean, this is Big Brother. This is 1984. This is Brave New World. It's real. It's really happening. And we're letting it. See, the old science fiction novels assumed that it would be imposed and you just sort of have to deal with it. But they didn't do it that way. They said, no, you're going to love this. You want to go to the store and get something? You could, or you could go, can you send me that? What's it going to cost? Nothing. Send me that thing. We are giving it away and don't even realize what's happening. But there's another reason that I wanted to emphasize private property, and this is what it is. When I was in Texas at this gathering that I was telling you about, this fundraiser for this group, I got 25 minutes left. I was talking to a guy that was kind of with me and handling my stuff, former Army guy, whatever, and he showed me a bill that a Texas representative, Congresswoman, I think, could be senator, but I think Congresswoman, that she wants to put into the as a law into Texas. I can't emphasize that one enough because, what do you hear this? Are you ready for this? Okay. Texas State Rep. In Texas, State Representative Terry Meza, Democrat, what are the odds? In Irving, has introduced HB 196. Her bill would repeal the state's castle doctrine. The castle doctrine is your right to defend your home with lethal force if somebody breaks into your home. Now, most people think, well, of course you should be able to do that. Somebody breaks into your house, you have family there, you don't know what they're there to do. They probably have a weapon. They certainly have no good reason to be there. They have sacrificed their freedom of life because I have to defend myself. So as much as that would be a terrible thing to have to do, I don't think most people think that doesn't make sense, that you can certainly defend your own home, right? And this is Texas, so certainly she's not going to have any aberration to that, right? Watch this. The doctrine allows a homeowner to use deadly force against an armed intruder who breaks into his home. Now, here's what she has to say about this bill. I'm not saying that stealing is okay, Meza explained. Good, that's good to know. She doesn't think we should steal. She's a Democrat. See, she doesn't think stealing's good. She just said so. Let's see if she follows that up with consistency. All I'm saying is that it doesn't warrant a death penalty. Death penalty. That's true. Matter of fact, I don't know that anybody that's ever stolen anything received the death penalty. That's absolutely true. But usually when people steal stuff, they kind of grab it and take off. Nobody knows it took place. It's something they kind of did surreptitiously, right? We don't see somebody stealing something and just shoot them, normally, right? Thieves only carry weapons for self-protection. From what? Why would a thief need to self-protect themselves from what? What would they need that from? Oh, from somebody that might not want you to steal their stuff and are defending their stuff? So they're all going in knowing what they're doing could cause a violent response. So they bring their own weapon. Thieves only carry weapons for self-protection and to provide the householder an incentive to cooperate. Huh? They just want to get their loot and get away. When the resident tries to resist is when people get hurt. If only one side is armed, fewer people will be killed. This is an actual human being, Democrat in Texas, who's making this argument. You want to know why there's so much death in Chicago? Because people aren't allowed to defend themselves, and only murderers murder, because they think like this, and it's real, and it has real ramifications. Under the new law, the homeowner's obligation is to flee the home at the first sign of intrusion. The homeowner's obligation is to flee the home at the first sign of intrusion. If fleeing is not possible, he must cooperate with the intruder. But if violence breaks out, it is the homeowner's responsibility to make sure no one gets hurt. The best way to achieve this is to use the minimum non-lethal force possible, because intruders will be able to sue for any injuries they receive at the hands of the homeowner. Then she said this: in most instances, the thief needs the money more than the homeowner does. Mesa reasoned, the homeowner's insurance, we reimburse his losses. On balance, the transfer of property is likely to lead to a more equitable distribution of wealth. If my bill can help make this transfer a peaceful one, so much the better. Did you hear what I just said? It's a fair redistribution of wealth. If they're stealing, it's because they needed it more than you. You get out of your house. If you can't get out, you cooperate. You do not have a gun. If you try to defend yourself and they get harmed, you will be sued. So what you ought to do is just take the locks off your doors. Say, everyone's come in, take something, be my guest, because this is the rules. If you come in and take stuff, it's because you're such a virtuous person that you've chosen to come in and say, listen, I need it more than you, and we all agree to that, and off you go with the stuff that was mine. Now, I'm a Christian, right? So we are known for having to be loving to people and to be kind and to be generous and to give sacrificially to those who are in need. Christianity said that pure religion was taking care of the widows and the orphans. Christianity was the idea that said all men are created equal, so everybody is equally deserving of protection. Christianity is the idea that said that you should always visit those in prison and that you should feed the poor. Christianity created soup kitchens. They did not used to exist. That whole idea of taking care of those that aren't part of your tribe, part of your family, to have soup kitchens, beds for homeless, all Christian concepts, all Christian ideas, okay? So this is my people. This is what we have always done. You know what else it says in Christianity? If you don't work, you don't eat. You know what Jesus said about the poor? They'll always be with you. Take care of them the best you can, but you're never going to make them go away. You see, if you don't see the world the way God actually explains to you it really is, you will make ridiculous commentary like that. What I don't understand for this woman is, why do you own anything? If that's how you live your life, get everything out of your house and start giving it away to the people that need it more than you. How dare you have anything? Why is it always somebody else has to suffer for your idiocracy? The foolishness, the ridiculousness of it. And this is a real representative who's really trying to create a bill that you would have to live under. So these things have weight. They matter. They're dangerous. But things like these are happening. Things like this is happening in this nation. What happened in Portland over the summer and in Washington? They were allowed to burn, loot, steal anything they wanted because they were outraged. They deserved the stuff because they were hurt or angry. This is really how leftists, I'm not saying necessarily Democrat, even though The Democrat Party has been completely taken over by leftism ideology. No question. There's probably some Democrats left that don't buy into the full-blown left lean. I don't know. I don't know who they are. They're probably out there. But I want you to understand that choices, ideologies, philosophies have consequences. This isn't theory anymore. It's why so many of these leftists are teachers in universities where they can't be fired, but they never have to come out and actually accomplish something in society because they can't. They're cowards. Everything's theory to them because that way they don't have to face the fact that it doesn't work. If it's theory, you can't prove it wrong. If it's theory, it doesn't fail. It doesn't collapse. And they look there with egg on their face and their pants down saying, you're an idiot. This doesn't work. Learn from history. Abandon this. Communism is evil. Get rid of it. It's destroyed, killed, and maimed, and brutalized, and enslaved more human beings in the 20th century than every other belief, war, philosophy, concept put together in history. Nobody killed more, destroyed more than communism, which is leftism, which is Marxism, which is the beginning of what socialism takes you to. This is real. It has something at stake if this happens. So I told you that even the Constitution said property was going to be one of the 3 God-given ideas that are sacrosanct. Then I just read to you what it looks like when somebody says you don't have ownership of your own property and what it costs. And clearly, somebody's going to get raped and murdered because she says only the thief is deserving of breaking into your house and having a weapon. Folks, this isn't a joke. It's not satire. It's not a SNL sketch. This is real people that have power, that are truly trying to create this kind of environment that you get to suffer for. Unless you decide I'm the government and something's got to give. Something's got to give. We can't allow ridiculousness. We've got to be able to speak again. We've got to be able to talk again. Let me tell you where this kind of nonsense leads. I'm reading a book right now. Everything I know, if I know anything, has come from me reading, meditating, and contemplating ideas. I'm an autodidact. If you don't know what that is, it's basically someone whose best teaching it comes from reading and is self-taught. That's just how my mind works. So I'm reading a wonderful book right now that I would recommend. It's a little bit sobering because it's what's coming to America in persecution of Christianity, but it's called Live Not by Lies by Rod Dreher, I think is how it goes. Anyways, it really, he went in and they spoke to people from Poland, people from Czechoslovakia, people from communist Soviet Union, and Christians. What was it like? Does it look like what's happening here in the U.S.? Yes, it does. What did it cost? What did totalitarianism mean? How did you have to watch what you said, how you think, what you do? And here's one of the things that I read. It's a big book, and not big book, but it's got a lot of cool ideas. But there's one thing I kind of I wanted to read to you real quick. Here was what was asked. How did people keep hold of reality under communist conditions? Because part of what communism does, or totalitarianism does, and as we now see, political correctness has turned into this whole idea of identity politics and this idea of victimhood, creating narratives that allow people to say, do whatever they want, and you're not allowed to question it. So they're creating their own reality. Okay? How did they know not only what to remember, but how to remember it? Because part of what is necessary for totalitarianism to work is to remove your traditions, take down your statues, remove your history, make you forget who you were or never know who you were. So you have no foundation to say, this is what we're fighting for. They strip it all away and recreate a ridiculous false image. And then you begin to serve that because you got nowhere else to fall on because you don't know who you are anymore. You've lost your DNA. The answer was to create distinct small communities, especially families and religious fellowships, in which it was possible both to speak truthfully and to embody truth. So this one gentleman, he was a mathematician, Czech mathematician and human rights activist, Václav Benda, came up with the idea of the parallel polis, an alternative set of social structures within which social and intellectual life could be lived outside of official approval, because that's what's happening right now. You are being told you don't get to think that, say that, do that, and if you do, we will get rid of you. You will be fired. You won't have a way to communicate to anybody else that thinks like you. We will own and truly be your slave masters. You will do whatever we say and when we say it, or we will just destroy you, and you won't have anywhere to go with it. The parallel polis was a grassroots attempt to fight back against totalitarianism, which mandated, in Benda's words, the abandonment of reason and learning and the loss of traditions and memory. That's what's happening. That's why I have always fought as a comedian that lifted up God and country and tore down political correctness. In my famous line, I want to watch political correctness die in my lifetime, but first, I want to watch it suffer. And so that part of the reason that mattered to me was because I want to be free to speak. Comedy is losing its ability to be able to speak freely. And you know why? Do you want to know why? I mean, yes, it's political correctness. And if you don't know this by now, if you haven't been watching my podcast, you better stick around. Cultural Marxism is what political correctness is. It is Marxism inculcated into culture as oppressed and oppressor, like it always was, but it's no longer economic. It's not the owner of the means of production and those who labor force take back the means of production and get their fair share. It's not like that because it doesn't work. So what they did was they said, let's make victims out of groups. Let's put them into identities that they will stay in their unique identity. We'll give them points based on how oppressed they are, and we decide what that is. And that's how they will be given more. Force, if you have something to give to them, to make it more fair, kind of like a carbon tax. And eventually the oppressors will be taken, their power taken away, and it will be evenly distributed amongst everybody else, which of course is a lie, because all of those who feel oppressed are now fully and utterly oppressing others and taking full power. Obviously, that's how it always works. It's always a lie that we're all going to be equal and egalitarian once we get into power. The very fact that you're stealing power and crushing and dismantling and slandering and destroying people's lives because you've decided to claim and give them some sort of malicious title and moniker that isn't even true, doesn't even have to be proven anymore. The fact that you don't care who is dead and destroyed in your wake so you get power proves you cannot be trusted with it, because you are absolutely a tyrant. It's happening in America. I have been saying this for a long time, and I've been saying it on my podcast. We have to go back to the original church. We will have to all be at one, fighting with each other. Yep, we're all over the United States, all over the world, but we are Christ followers, so we have to be the body. There is no more time for, I accept Jesus as my Savior, now I'm in. No, that's not enough anymore. You have to die to self, be crucified, and be prepared to go fight a war by being Jesus for the world. You have to defend your position. Study to show yourself approved unto God. It's time to know what you believe. It's time to stand up for others and to stand up for what you believe amongst the environment that you are part of. You're responsible for your children and for your parents and for your neighbors and for your job and the places and the people that you come into contact with. That's your territory, sacredly given to you by God. You are responsible. You can't do any less. We're being destroyed out there, Christians, conservatives. We have to become one, undaunted, unmoved, straight ahead. I'm looking for warriors to join me in a whole new Christianity, not new in redefining what it already is. The established Word of God and the New Testament will never be changed, can't be changed. Jesus is never going to be changed, can't be changed. But you have to remember the traditions of what made us who we are, what Christianity actually means, what it stands for, all of the moral ideas, the idea of keeping it. If you get married, stay married. You don't get to get divorced anymore, Christians, or you're not one of us. It's time to live this dang life like it costs you something. Because if it doesn't cost you anything, it's not worth anything. When I go to these comedy clubs and I say, come out and see me, do you think it's because I'm trying to get rich? You think I'm going to go get rich getting 125 people because they only can do half capacity anyways? You think I'm going to get rich at this stinking club? No. I'll make a little bit of money so I can pay bills just like you like to pay your bills. What I'm trying to show is solidarity. Christians and conservatives will quit getting off their stinking high horse denominational, traditional, legalistic nonsense, get their butts out of their chairs, go into a comedy club where they're selling liquor, put their money down, sit down there and say, we're going to support this brother, we're going to laugh, we're going to stand up for freedom and liberties, and we are going to fill the place out until they can't ignore us anymore. That's my little piece of the puzzle. You don't have to just do it with me. Go celebrate any Christ follower, any conservative speaker who's going somewhere. Go support them, who's being protested. Get in there. Walk in, don't go hate people, don't go shoot them. Just be men and women of love and dignity, but maturity and discipline, and get in there and support it and fill these joints up just like, just like they did with Donald Trump. You can say what you want or not about him, whether you liked him, didn't like him, voted, don't vote. That's not what I'm asking you right now. But people were committed to standing up for what they thought he represented. This guy, I've never seen, none of us alive today, none of us ever saw a president have the kind of fans that this guy had. So that's what I'm trying to help create. And you're helping me do that. You've seen some of the donate buttons, but I got something special to tell you today. Guess what I'm doing? It's working, guys. Those of you who are watching this right now, many of you are old friends that have been around from the get-go. Some of you are brand new. But I want to let you know that all the old, and you can look at them if I look through this. There's Benjamin Gregory, my guy that helps me every stinking Monday, like a great man. There's Kit Kat Sparrow. I don't know if she's here. I haven't had a chance to really look. Let's see. Who else? Fred Walls. Yes, he's a good one. David Van Noy. He came out and saw my show, I think in Dallas, was it? But Karen Boyd, yes, she's an old fan that's been around for a while. But I want you guys to know this. It's working. All this equipment was part of your donations. This is starting to come together. I've actually got the first permits to the city. You're going, why you need a permit to finish out your own home? Because I want to be able to let them approve of it so it goes into the county record so I get the square footage to make it worth something to my house. This is all I own, guys. This is all I got. In my entire career, all of my equity is this home. So I'm trying to make it worth something to you. And my ministry came out of this, started in a little Facebook page, is turning into a podcast. But Brad Stine Has Issues started. And now that is going to become a premium for those of you to find out that, yes, you can still donate. I always do that. But guess what else is coming, guys? I've joined Patreon. I've realized that I in becoming a show that people want and need to hear what I'm saying. Not because I think I'm worth something. It's because you guys are saying, you show up, you say, we like what you said and we want it to grow. But it's not free. So I can't afford to. And if I'm going to do this, and especially if I try to do it more often, I can't go do a show. I can't go perform. That's the only way I make a living. Because I got to be here to do this. Well, I got to be here to do this. I can't make a living. I can't make a living. I can't feed my family. I can't pay for my home. So the way I can do it is through donations, and that's why I have a ministry, God's Comic Ministry, 501c3, and I have a brand new Patreon site, which Benjamin has just put on. If you want to help, I got a $5 a month, $10 a month subscriber, and a $50 a month subscriber. And those people, if you go look on this link, there's certain gifts and certain special things you get for being a subscriber. But one of those things is, because some of you guys might be saying, well, what happened to Brad Stine Has Issues? It was like a 8 to 10 minute rant on a particular issue in culture where I just spoke about that thing. Well, guess what? Hasn't been out for a while because it's going to now be only available to my Patreon subscribers. I'll be doing the podcast for free. I might have some other things coming up that I'll tell you about later that are other projects that are even more interesting. Not more, but equally interesting. And I'll tell you about those. But for my Patreon subscribers, we're going to have mug PC free mugs, and I think I'm going to get another one that says "Nothing matters but God." That's one of my favorite statements God gave me a long time ago. I also have T-shirts like that. But anyways, if you are a $5 patron, you get certain things. I don't even have it in front of me. Actually, I think I do have it in front of me somewhere. Did I bring it with me? Yes. All right, let me just run it off. I might be running a few minutes late tonight, guys, but it's because I'm opening up this new information. So, where's Brad Stine Has Issues? We've joined Patreon. Okay, and then the link is right up there. So, all tiers will receive exclusive access to Brad Stine Has Issues as a thank you. So now only certain people, my buddies, my friends, my patrons, are going to get Brad Stine Has Issues. Excuse me. We'll be adding value to every tier as we go. Aside from seeing you live at theaters, churches, clubs, and I will come to your church. I will come to your club. I'll come to your theaters. Don't just say we want you to come. You've got to tell me that we can get a crowd and help me. I'm telling you, you guys are helping me do grassroots Christianity in nightclubs because you're warriors. You're my warriors. I'm just a catalyst to help you congregate, but it's not all about me. I hope you guys make groups that stay in that city and begin to preach Christ, preach conservative values, stand for things. This is the way that we as believers who believe that this nation is worth fighting for are going to fight back and become something. And I'm doing it my little way to help give you some catalysts, some ways to do that. But I'm just one guy. And so I'm going to give you these podcasts. We're going to give you Brad Stine Has Issues. I'm going to come do these clubs, and I need you to just help me sell them out. Tell your churches. That's what I want to see. I want to see churches come to South Carolina, North Carolina. Hi, Wyatt. I'm running a little bit late, but I'm just going to keep going. That's my son, Wyatt. He came in, but he's wondering, why don't you get out of here so I can leave? And I'm not doing it because I own this place. Anyways, but I want you guys to tell your churches, get your singles group, get your elderly group, get your women's group, sell out the joint. It's a comedy club, but where they're selling liquor. I can't believe the faces they would see if all the churches start buying these places out and saying, we're coming. We're not going to be shut down anymore. We are essential. And we're showing up, and you don't want us to be in politics, but we're there. And you don't want us to be in comedy, but we're there. And you want us to stay in our churches. And then you try to shut down our churches. We're not doing that anymore because it's essential. If you don't want to come to church because you're afraid, don't. That's Christianity. If you want to come and wear a mask, do. That's Christianity. If you want to come to our church and not wear a mask, do. That's Christianity. The freedom to make your own choices, your own calls. But Jesus is essential. Church is essential. This is what I'm talking about, creating a whole new warrior mentality over what I think is going to happen in this country. And I'm going to be part of that because I believe in the third great awakening. That's what I believe in. You can help me with these Patreon. Need to share these so you can get people to join in. $5 a month. If you don't have that, I'll send you money. $10 a month, $50 a month, you get something special. I'll tell you what it is. So you're going to come see me. So the best way for you to support is Patreon. So it's still part of my ministry. So by the way, this is something unique. Not every Patreon guy gets to do this. It's part of my ministry. That means it's a write-off. It's a 501c3. You're giving to my ministry because it's spiritual foundation of what everything I do is my Christian faith in my ministry. So even if you give on a $5, $10, $50 base, and by the way, any of you who have been given to the signatory, have been given to my own personal, you can keep doing that. You don't have to change. I'll give you stuff. You just let me know, and I can see you, and you'll still get some of the same things. Or you can do both. I mean, if you're giving over there to the ministry, and you want to come over and give to this, be a $5, and you do whatever you want. It's it's your money. Let God tell you what to do. Okay, so anyways, you can still support with the donate button at bradstine.com. If you want to give that way, it's okay. But you get that. Now, for Patreon supporters, you'll get specifically Brad Stine Has Issues. This podcast will always be free. Brad Stine Has Issues is once a week on Tuesdays, episodical series, right, covering cultural topics. It's about 10 minutes long. So it's designed to explore serious topics and arm you with information you need to have meaningful conversations with those who might disagree with you, okay? So each tier is going to have different benefits, and you're going to be able to see that. And by the way, if you join now, you're not going to be charged until April 1st. And part of the part of these special tiers, and if you go to this, you'll see, is what you're going to get a mug. I think is what we're going to do for sure. Maybe I'll do some of these T-shirts for some of the first people, and I'm thinking about even maybe providing like a personal. I'll give for the $50 people. You get a personal greeting to somebody, a friend of yours, everything that I'll send to you personally that you can use. I want you to. And by the way, don't forget to bid on this because we're about out of time, and I'll send it to you. And by the way, if you want to, Brad Stine put a helmet on poster. That went great last week. So $75 is what it went for last week. Go ahead and bid on that since we're sitting here. But. This is where I'm at, guys. I told you I had special things to talk about. I always will be funny. I'll always be funny because that's my flavor. That's my delivery system. But there's too much at stake. If you don't know Jesus, you need to, because it's the ultimate balance of life. It will tell you who you are and where you're supposed to go, and it will fill in some places that you thought you could fill in by being a social justice warrior, or you thought you could fill it in by going to Greenpeace or whatever. I'm telling you, there's a missing piece that this is going to fill for you. And then we're going to stand up for traditional American values, not because we hate anyone or because we don't want anybody else to have equal access to whatever it is they want, but we aren't going to give up our traditions, or we aren't here anymore. There is no we. There is no America. That's what's going to happen. It just can't go on any other way. We can't forget what got us here. And by the way, the most successful country in human history in integrating people from all over the world, the most successful country in history for people wanting to immigrate to, the most successful country in history for generating product and innovation, the most successful in history in giving to other people that don't have, the most successful in history in conquering civilizations and then giving it back to them so they could rebuild, the most freedom giving in history. I know we had slaves. I've talked about it on Brad Stine Has Issues. Terrible thing. We got rid of it. Was there still racism? Of course, that's a human condition. But do you know that some of the largest immigrants to the United States is from Africa, and there's some of the most successful of all the immigrants come from Africa? If we were so terribly racist, Africans wouldn't come. And they do, and they succeed. Folks, are you sick of the lies of the narrative that is forgetting who we were and loving this nation and holding our hands over our heart and singing the national anthem? Well, I will fight for us to not lose that. I can't say I can do it by myself. I'm not your savior. I'm just a comedian who God has put on my heart. I can't not do these things, and you can just help me through just throwing a little dough this way so I can build the studio, make it better, not freezing, and that I can get writers. You are watching this thing grow, and it started on my lap, on my personal computer, on Facebook about a year ago, or whenever I first did this, and said, I wonder if anybody's out there that might be interested in this old comedian that apparently has some funny things to say from a very unique point of view. So, if this is what you guys want to do, please go out there and sign up. Again, you don't have to pay your first amount until April, but you're going to help grow the. I mean, literally, you're going to watch it all grow up, and you're going to get some behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm going to film some of the building of this so you can see what it looks like. But you guys saw a guy sitting in his Facebook Live on his laptop, on his lap, in his den, in and up in this place with cameras and a mic. And trust me, all the old people that were here with me in the beginning, half the time all they said was, we can't hear you. You need a better mic. It's ridiculous. I mean, you've literally from the ground up watched this guy do this in his T-shirt trying to figure this out, and it's becoming a TV show, and you guys watch it happen from the ground up. It's cool. It's exciting. That's America. That's entrepreneurship. And you know what else it is? It's God doing the work. I'm just doing what he told me to do, and he's bringing people that apparently I can be of some value for, because that's how the body works. We're all gifted in our own ways. We're all given certain skill sets, but we need each other desperately. And that's what this is all about. So this is the first time I've launched this. You can go join it now. And the more people that get involved, the better, because it's cheap. So $5 isn't going to do me much good. But what if 50 people gave me $5, or 1,000 people, or 1,500? guess what? Not only does this grow, but suddenly I have a guy that can actually help me answer your questions because he can show me what's going on, or a guy help me write, or we can do sketches, or we can go out into the marketplace, or we can have interviews. All the things that you've seen other podcasts do that you just kind of jumped in and said, this is cool. You're building it from scratch. And I'm showing it to you so you can see this is how it works. Just a regular old guy who's just trying to do what he was told to do. And you guys are my partners. Where are the warriors? It's you. All right, guys. I'm going to take off. I went about 10 minutes long, but I was excited about where this is going. I'm still experimenting with the laughs and the poignancy. I always let I ask for his prophet's anointing. Tell me what you want me to say, because he told me to be a prophet to the church, to say the hard things that need to be said in this season in America. Persecution's coming. But you know what, folks? Let's fight. Let's pray. Let's believe. Let's see if we can beat it back. Let's see if the gates of hell cannot prevail against us. Let's not just give it away. Let's see what God might do if we finally say, enough. Enough, Philistine. You will not insult the God of Israel. We will fight like men and women. And let's see what our God will do if he's just waiting for us to get the cojones to fight like warriors. So this is Brad Stine Show, episode 6. There's a lot more episodes, but I started naming them 6 episodes ago. Tomorrow, 3 Brad Stine Has Issues are going to launch. 3 brand new ones you've never seen. You're going to get a whole free bunch of content this month. And then starting April, you're going to see it grow. I do have some other things I'll be talking to you about soon. But I want to say thank you for being there. Thank you for all you, especially you guys that come here every Monday and be my fans. I appreciate it. Please tell me if you want to do this. Tell me, by the way, if you want to come to Front Sight and fight and learn handgun training with me personally. I've moved it to May because Crystal Thomas and I'm going to do a show with Crystal this weekend in Kentucky. So for those of you who want to go to Cada's, Kentucky and see me live, I'll be there this Friday night or Saturday evening and Sunday morning. Crystal Thomas got her husband, and she was kind enough to move his March date to May. I'm looking for 10 couples that will go with me to May to Pahrump, Nevada, and learn handgun training so I can create people that are safely protecting themselves and their families with guns and carry permits. So this is part of everything this ministry is becoming, and you can be part of it too. God bless you, folks. Thank you for being with me. Leave any questions, anything you have for me. If you want to bring me into your church, your community, to a comedy club, and be part of that and help organize the warriors, the awakened warriors that can really show what Christians and conservatives will do. We will not be stopped no matter how many these social platforms try to throw us out. We're not going to be stopped. You can't stop us. There's too many of us. We're still the majority, and we have God on our sides. God bless you, folks. See you next week. Please give, and let's see what God has for us. See you soon. Or